6th of August, and I just want to show you something about grafting, which is slightly different to some of the things I've done before. Now this is a, sorry about the wind noise, windy day, can't be helped. This is a tree of Tremlitz bitter in our cider orchard, and it's carrying a moderate crop. And anyway, the interesting thing about this is I grafted this over earlier, obviously in March. Now there are 3 rind grafts here. I'm glad I said they're all taken. You can see that's the pencil of wood that went in. All 3 have taken. 1, 2, 3 successful rind grafts. Note the label. A kind friend sent me some pencils of cyan wood of a variety called Somerset Redstreak. Very important to label, and which is a bitter sharp cider apple. Now I left this as what I did obviously was sawed these back and left this as a nurse branch and also as a fail-safe in case the grafts didn't take. Normally my grafts take reasonably well, but this would have come through the post and been stored for rather longer than I ideally would have liked, so I wasn't sure. So I left this partly as a nurse branch, which some people think is a good idea to pull the sap up, and also as a fail-safe, so I would still have a tree. If these grafts had all failed, what I would have done was have sawn these off, and then we would have still been left with a tree. And I've had to think about this, and it's a balanced decision. But what I've decided to do, I mean, these are growing away quite nicely, but they're growing away very well indeed, in fact. But they're beginning to grow up into this tree, and I've decided I'm going to saw this off, and that will help them to grow better. Now that means sacrificing these cider apples here, which is a pity. However, we've got plenty more of that variety, and you know, you've got to think forward to the future. And if I saw this off now, which I'm about to do, then these should grow away well, and so we'll have a crop of Somerset Redstreaks sooner. So I'm just going to do that, Julia, if you want to take hold of that. Now I'll take a bit of care doing this. Here's the good old Silky Fox saw. Careful not to cut myself. Now I'm going to dismantle this in a few stages to make it easier and safer, because I don't want the whole thing falling down in a way that's unhelpful. Oops, I should have been a bit more careful doing that. It's a shame to waste these apples, but you know, I'll have more of these particular varieties than I need, so it's just too bad. Right, I'm gonna start by sawing this off up here, just to make it easier, make a clean cut. There's a little undercut there, and to cut above that. Just holding onto this so it'll fall away safe. I don't want to break any of the little young branches. Okay, right, I can now make this cut with a lot more safety. I'm going to make it down here. You see, if I'd made this cut, the cut that I'm making now, if I'd made this cut initially, then as opposed to doing what I've just done, then the weight of the tree would have been unstable, it would have been difficult, I couldn't have controlled it, it might have fallen and broken some of these. So now I can make this cut quite safely, being careful obviously not to damage these young branches. All right. You see what I've done. Now these are going to get more light. All of the sap that's coming up from the roots is going to go through these, so I'm hopeful that these will really grow a lot. You want to see, compared to my height, this is up to my nose, and this is up to the top of my hat, so maybe we'll come back later. I'm just using this gunk to seal it off. This is Arbrex Seal and Heal, which is what they're producing now instead of the old fashioned sort of tarry stuff. I think I preferred the tar, but this stuff I've been using it a bit this year and I think it's working out okay. Alright, so you can see what I've done. I've hopefully explained why I've done it. So now we'll see what happens here. And the reason for I've gone over the issues of top working in the past. This is just a particular example of top working of an established tree, which I've done in this manner. So now I've got one. It's a shame about the apples that have been lost. That is just too bad, can't be helped. There's not enough to get the grinder out, they're not really ripe yet for cider. Okay, so I've lost the potential of maybe 2 pints of cider off of there. Compared to the amount of cider I'm going to be making this year, that's not a very big deal. But now I've increased the diversity of my orchard. I've got one fewer, so instead of having 7 Tremlets bitter, I've got 6 Tremlets bitter, and I've got a Somerset Redstreak coming on, which will make my cider more interesting and my collection a little bit more diverse.